For today's video, we're going to be talking about one easy thing you can do that will make your videos 10 times better. Ready for it? Drum roll please. That thing is sound. When I was first starting making videos, I was really prioritized on just learning the basics of the editing platform, getting my clips together in order, really all of the foundational things for creating a video. Once I got that, I started to move towards more advanced things like effects and transitions and really getting those polished. But one of the main things that I really started doing that took my videos from beginner or amateur to a more professional level was starting to add sound effects. There's no denying it. Adding sound to your video just makes it exponentially better. If you think about it, when people are watching your video, they're really only using two of their senses, sight and sound. Most people prioritize the visuals, which is great. You definitely need to have those down. But by spending just a little bit of extra time by polishing up the sound and adding in sound effects, you can incorporate a whole nother sense for your viewers. Doing this is one of the best ways to immerse your viewer in the scene and really make them feel like they're there in person. Let me show you an example. If you take this short sequence, which is really just a couple clips that I shot out by my house, I've color graded it, cut it together, made it look nice. But if you watch this sequence on its own without any sound, it feels like something is missing. And that something is some well-rounded sound. Now, let me show you another example where I actually went in and added some sound effects and mixed everything together. I'll shut up while this is playing. As you can see, it really just makes everything feel a lot more realistic, even down to the transitions and the effects and things that you add afterwards. Adding in sound also allows you to experiment with a whole nother aspect of filmmaking. Get creative with it. Have some fun and add in some sounds that you might not normally hear, but add a cool and unique dynamic to your scene. Here's a couple tips that I like to use when adding in my sound design. Number 1, try to record some ambient sounds as you're filming. To do this, you can just throw a shotgun mic on top of your camera. I like to use the Rode VideoMic Pro, which I'll go ahead and link below. But as you're shooting, just try and capture some high quality sound. Whether or not you end up using all of it, it's good to have as a background track, or at least to jog your memory later on while you're looking for sound effects to use. Tip number 2, subscribe to a sound effects platform. There's so many of these you can choose from now. If you're a creator and you spend time on YouTube, I'm sure you've seen ads for a bunch of these now. Envato, Artlist, Epidemic Sound. All of these, basically what you do is you pay a monthly subscription fee, and with that you get access to a bank of thousands of different sounds that you can choose from. Some of them even include royalty-free music, so you can use those without getting copyrighted. Just as a side note, this video is not sponsored by any of them, but if any of you guys see this and want to email me, let's talk. There's also a bunch of sound effects packs that you can purchase online, which is really a great way to just start building out your sound effects library and have different ones to choose from. Tip number 3, don't just slap sound effects in your edit like a band-aid and call it good. Do your best to actually mix the levels so that they sound realistic within your scene. A few ways to do this is just adjusting the volume levels. So if something's supposed to be closer to camera, you can bring the volume up, and if it's supposed to be in the distance, you can bring it down. Adding fades to smooth out your sound effects, so fading the volume in and fading the volume out, so it's not just an abrupt sound that's coming on. Also adjusting the reverb. There's 2 effects in Premiere Pro that I like to use called Studio Reverb and Surround Reverb. Both of these have a bunch of presets that you can choose from. 2 that I like to use are either Somewhere Not Here or the Outdoors. Basically, when you're recording sound, there'll naturally be different levels of reverb depending on how close the mic is to what you're recording, how big the space you're recording in is. So you want to try and mimic that with your sound as much as possible. Adding a little bit of reverb can just help blend it into the overall scene some more. My last tip is just to take some time while you're shooting and stop and listen to the sounds that are around you, and then write those down. Sometimes when you're sitting at home editing, it can be hard to really recall all of the different sounds that were actually present in your environment. But if you stop and listen while you're actually there, you'll probably end up hearing a lot of different sounds that you wouldn't normally expect or be able to recall later, but can really go a long way towards making your viewer feel like they're there. It's not always the most obvious sounds that do the best job. And there you have it. Those are some of my tips for adding in sound design to make your videos better. If you enjoyed this video and took the time to watch it all the way through, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All of these things really helped me take my videography to the next level. So if it helps out any of you guys, go ahead, leave this video a like, subscribe. If there's other tutorials that you'd like to see, go ahead and drop them down in the comments below. I'm going to be doing new ones of these every week, and I really want to hear what you guys want to see. My main purpose for doing these videos is to try and provide some of the skills and knowledge that I've built up over my years as an editor and give them back to creators who are just starting out or creators who have been going for a while and are just looking for a new technique to step up their game. As always, I appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys next week.